Tonight, welcome back to Sleepy Health, and allow yourself to drift gently into a different kind of exploration. One that lives not in the visible world, but in the quiet inner landscape where your body speaks to you in a language older than memory itself. A language made of signals, sensations, warnings, and whispers. A language called pain. Before we begin, take just a moment to settle into whatever position feels most natural. Let your shoulders drop softly, let your jaw loosen, and give your breath a little more room to move. As your body relaxes, notice how even the smallest shift in posture brings subtle sensations. A stretch here, a quiet warmth there, maybe a mild ache you had ignored all day. These sensations are not random. They are threads woven into the fabric of your nervous system, guiding you, protecting you, and keeping you connected to the state of your body. Pain, though often unwelcome, is one of the most essential forms of this communication. Without it, you would not survive long. And yet, even with its importance, so many people go through life without truly understanding what pain is, where it comes from, or why the same experience can feel completely different for two people standing side by side. Pain is not just something that happens in the body. It is something your brain creates carefully, deliberately, and with remarkable precision. You might think of pain as an alarm, but it is more than that. It is a storyteller, a messenger, and sometimes a sculptor of memory. It is a bridge between the physical world and your inner world. Imagine, for a moment, touching something sharp with your fingertip. In that instant, faster than a blink, faster than a thought, tiny receptors beneath your skin awaken. These receptors, called nociceptors, live quietly inside you all the time, waiting for signs of danger. Too much heat, too much cold, too much pressure, or tissue damage. They do not feel pain themselves. They simply notice danger and send a signal. The signal races along nerves, traveling toward your spinal cord. But even here, something fascinating happens. Pain doesn't simply shoot toward the brain like a straight wire. Instead, your spinal cord, acting like a wise, ancient gatekeeper, decides what to amplify and what to diminish. It asks questions without words. Is this dangerous? Is it important? Do we need to respond quickly? Has this happened before? Are we tired? Are we stressed? Are we calm? The spinal cord adjusts the message accordingly. Sometimes it opens the gate wide, letting the alarm ring loudly throughout your body. Sometimes it softens the signal, sending only a quiet warning. And occasionally, in moments of danger, adrenaline, or shock, it closes the gate almost entirely, hiding the pain until you are safe enough to feel it. This is why athletes can continue running on a sprained ankle, or why someone in an emergency may not realize they are injured until much later. Pain is not a raw, automatic sensation. It is an interpretation, a delicate negotiation between your nerves, your spinal cord, and your brain. As the signal continues upward, the brain receives it not as pain, but as information. The brain examines it, compares it to memories, context, emotional state, past experiences, and even expectations. Only after this evaluation does your brain create the sensation you recognize as pain. This means that pain does not live in the body. It lives in the brain. And because it lives in the brain, it can change. It can intensify when we are afraid or stressed. It can soften when we feel safe or supported. It can disappear entirely in moments of extreme emotion or linger quietly long after the injury has healed. This is why the same injury can feel unbearable to one person and mild to another. Pain is personal. Pain is individual. Pain is the most intimate signal your body produces. As you breathe slowly, imagine the millions of receptors living beneath your skin, in your muscles, in your organs, in the delicate connective tissues that hold you together. They are always listening, always watching, not to frighten you, but to protect you. Pain is not an enemy, though it may feel like one at times. Pain is the oldest guardian you have. Now think about how many kinds of pain you have felt in your life. The sharp sting of touching something hot, the dull heaviness after a long day of standing, the pulsating ache of a headache, the unfamiliar pressure inside the stomach during stress, the quiet, lingering soreness after exercise. Each sensation is different. Each has its own signature, its own texture, its own emotion attached. Yet all of them are shaped by the same ancient system. Even more mysterious are the pains that occur without injury. The phantom pains that appear in limbs that are no longer there. the burning sensations of nerve pain, the aches that travel from one part of the body to another. These sensations reveal something profound. Pain does not come from the body alone. It comes from the conversation between your body and your brain, and sometimes that conversation continues even when the body is silent. As we continue, you might notice your breathing deepening even more, a soft rhythm entering your body, a gentle slowing of your mind. Pain, as intense as it can be, often loses its sharp edges when the nervous system relaxes. Calmness softens the gates of the spinal cord. Safety quiets the alarm. Breath smooths the edges of sensation. Your body, right now, is doing exactly that, easing into a state where awareness and tranquility blend together. You may have noticed how pain feels worse at night. There is a reason for this. When the world becomes quiet, when distractions fade, the brain has fewer places to direct its attention. With nothing else to occupy the mind, the body's signals become louder. But in calm moments like this, when you are aware yet serene, the opposite happens. The nervous system shifts into a state that lowers tension. Muscles unclench. Blood flow improves. Nerves stop firing quite so rapidly. This is why understanding pain matters. When you understand something, you fear it less. When you fear it less, you feel it differently. Knowledge changes perception, and perception changes pain. And as we sink deeper into this exploration, think of pain not as a punishment, but as a form of communication, one that your body uses because it cares about your survival. Even emotional pain reflects this truth. Heartache, loneliness, grief, all of them activate the same neural pathways as physical pain. Your brain interprets emotional wounds as if they were physical, because connection is essential to survival too. In this way, pain becomes a mirror, a reflection of what matters to you, a marker of your boundaries, a reminder that you are alive, sensitive, responsive, and deeply human. And as you rest here, letting your breathing settle into a deeper, slower pattern. Imagine for a moment how incredibly complex it is for your body to decide what pain even means. Think of how a small paper cut can hurt sharply, while something far more dangerous, like a slow internal problem, might whisper so quietly that you barely notice it. Your brain assigns importance, and it assigns intensity. And sometimes it misjudges. Sometimes it exaggerates, and sometimes it stays silent when it should shout. You can picture your nervous system like an enormous network of tiny roads, weaving through every inch of your body. Some roads are smooth and fast, carrying signals instantly, transmitting sharp and clear messages, the kind that feel like sudden jolts or stings. These are your fast pain fibers, designed to warn you quickly. But some roads are slower, narrower, older in their architecture. They carry signals that feel deep, aching, throbbing, or dull. They don't rush. They persist. They remind you not to move too much, not to push too far, not to ignore what needs rest or care. Every pain you feel is shaped by these two roads working together. First the fast warning, then the slow echo. A quick flare, then a lingering message. And both are essential. The first keeps you safe. The second helps you heal. If you think back to childhood, you might remember how differently pain felt then. A scraped knee could feel like the end of the world. A bump on the head could make tears flow instantly. Yet as you grew older, the same injuries didn't trigger the same reaction. That's because your brain learned. It built memories of harmless pains, memories of recovery, memories of safety. It learned how to evaluate danger, and those evaluations changed the sensations you felt. Pain is never just physical. It is shaped by expectation, by memory, by emotion. If you believe something will hurt badly, it often does. If you expect something to be mild, it typically feels milder. This is not imagination, it is biology. Your brain creates predictions constantly, and these predictions soften or amplify sensations before they ever reach your conscious mind. This is why the placebo effect is so powerful. When you believe you are receiving relief, your brain releases chemicals, natural painkillers, that actually reduce the sensation. These chemicals, like endorphins and dopamine, quiet the spinal cord gates. They dim the alarm. They create real, measurable changes in the brain. The opposite is true, too. If you fear something will be painful, your brain turns the volume higher, increasing sensitivity. That is the nocebo effect, the shadow twin of placebo. Imagine walking through a dark hallway at night. If you're anxious, every sound feels louder, every shadow feels threatening, every sensation becomes sharper. The nervous system reacts to fear by amplifying signals. But if you're relaxed, if you feel safe, those same sounds become small, those shadows harmless. Pain works in the same way, amplifying when you're worried, shrinking when you're calm. This is why even a soft, slow, peaceful voice, even a gentle moment like the one you are in now, can ease pain more than many people realize. Calm changes the chemistry of your brain. Safety closes the gates. Breath opens space in the mind. Your entire system becomes less reactive, less vigilant, less alarmed. Inside the spine, special cells act like volume knobs. They can turn up the intensity or they can turn it down. When you are stressed, tired, lonely, or overwhelmed, they often turn the volume higher. When you are supported, comforted, relaxed, or mindful, they turn it lower. These cells are constantly adjusting your experience. If you imagine them now, gently lowering the volume, like someone dimming a bright, overwhelming light, you might actually feel your body responding. Shoulders easing a little more. Muscles releasing tension they held all day. A soft warmth entering your limbs as circulation improves. Even the smallest aches might feel less sharp, fading gently into the background. Pain is not simply a sensation. Pain is an experience shaped by everything you are, everything you know, and everything you feel. There are also pains that live deeper, pains that seem to come from nowhere, triggered not by injury, but by emotion, memory, or stress. These pains are real, not imagined. The brain uses the same pain pathways for emotional pain as it does for physical pain. Heartbreak activates the same networks as physical injury. Loneliness triggers the same regions as hunger. Social rejection lights up the brain's pain centers more intensely than many physical wounds. This is because, throughout human evolution, connection meant survival. To be alone was dangerous. To be rejected or abandoned was life-threatening. So the brain evolved to treat emotional pain with the same seriousness as physical danger. This is why emotional wounds linger so deeply, why memories of embarrassment can make your body tense, why harsh words hurt for years. The brain does not separate physical danger from emotional danger. It protects you from both with the same ancient system. And yet, emotional pain can often be soothed in ways physical pain cannot. A kind word, a comforting presence, a gentle reminder that you are not alone. These can release the same brain chemicals as pain medication. That warm, soothing feeling when someone understands you is not just psychological. It is biological. It is your nervous system relaxing, shifting, calming the alarm. Now, as you breathe even more deeply, imagine your brain's pain centers softening, as if wrapped in a warm, gentle mist. Imagine your spine loosening its grip on the signals traveling upward. Imagine your muscles receiving permission to let go, to soften, to rest. Your body understands safety more quickly than the mind does. It reacts to calmness instantly, like a tense animal relaxing once it realizes the world is quiet again. Think of all the times you felt pain fade after simply lying down, or after hearing a soothing voice, or after someone placed a comforting hand on your shoulder. These are moments when your nervous system recognized peace and adjusted its signals accordingly. Pain is dynamic, not fixed. It changes with mood, environment, expectation, memory, and meaning. Even the way you interpret pain can change its intensity. If you see pain as a threat, it grows louder. If you see it as a message, a signal that something needs rest or care, it often softens. This reframing doesn't erase pain, but it changes the emotional reaction around it. And emotion is half the experience. Some people describe pain as heavy. Others describe it as sharp, fiery, cold, electric, dull, or throbbing. These metaphors aren't random. They reflect the brain's attempt to translate something complex into something understandable. Pain is one of the only sensations that must be interpreted. It cannot be felt directly like touch or taste or sound. It must be built by the brain. And anything built can be reshaped. Your brain reshapes pain every night as you sleep. During deep sleep, inflammatory chemicals decrease, muscle tension melts, and the brain resets its emotional processing. This is why lack of sleep makes pain worse. The nervous system becomes more reactive, the spinal cord gates open wider, and the brain's emotional centers intensify. Pain feels sharper, louder, more persistent. As you drift into deeper relaxation, your nervous system begins to behave as if you are falling into the earliest layers of sleep, slowing, calming, quieting. The signals traveling through your body lose their urgency. Muscles loosen their guardedness. Breath becomes a gentle wave. You may even feel a soft tingling in your arms or legs as tension leaves them. This is your body's natural pain relief system activating. As you settle even deeper into the stillness around you, imagine the soft darkness folding gently across your body, wrapping you in quiet. Tonight, we are drifting into the shadowed landscape of pain, not with fear, not with resistance, but with a slow, curious breath. Because pain, in all its sharpness and heaviness, is also a language your body uses when it has something important to say. Feel your chest rise slowly and fall gently, and with each breath, picture yourself descending into a deep, quiet room inside your body, a place where nerves whisper, where ancient instincts stretch their roots, where the very first sparks of sensation begin. Pain may seem like an intruder, but in truth, it is one of your oldest protectors. Long before you learned words, long before your mind formed its first memories, your body already knew how to warn you, how to pull you away from danger, how to bring your attention to wounds you could not see. And as you lie here, letting the world soften around the edges, you can imagine these tiny protectors, nociceptors, resting beneath your skin like silent sentinels. They wait patiently, listening for the slightest shift. A cut, a burn, swelling, pressure, something too hot, something too cold. The moment they sense trouble, they awaken and a spark begins its journey. Picture that spark traveling through the long, thin threads of your nerves, weaving upward like a small flare moving through a quiet forest at night. But before it reaches your awareness, it passes through the spinal cord, a place far more intelligent and selective than people imagine. It is here, in this narrow, quiet corridor of the body, that decisions are made long before the mind even knows there is a threat. Some signals are silenced. Some are softened. Some are amplified so your body can react before you even think. Only when a signal is allowed through does it climb toward the brain, where the experience of pain finally forms. Not in one place, but in many. Different regions light up like distant lanterns across a dark valley, each adding something. The sharpness, the location, the emotional weight, the memories it reminds you of, the urgency it carries. This is why pain feels so deeply human. It is not a simple sensation. It is an experience woven from dozens of threads. And as you lie here, letting the minutes stretch and smooth themselves out, you may begin to understand why pain can linger long after the body has healed. Sometimes the nervous system learns the memory of pain too well, repeating it like a melody the brain finds hard to forget. Sometimes stress makes the signals louder. Sometimes exhaustion makes the world feel sharper. Sometimes old wounds echo in places you didn't even know were connected. Pain is not just a signal. It is a conversation. And tonight, we are learning to listen. Let yourself sink a little deeper. Breathe a little slower. And allow the dark, gentle landscape within you to unfold. Pain has many faces, and as you breathe softly now, you may begin to sense how each one moves through the body with its own rhythm, its own personality. Some pain is sharp, like a sudden flash in the dark. Some pain is dull, a quiet pressure that lingers at the edges of your awareness. Some pain pulses like a slow drum. Some pain spreads like fog. And some pain sits heavy and unmoving, like a stone resting deep inside you. Imagine yourself floating in a dark, warm space where every sensation is softened. In this space, pain becomes a gentle glow rather than a blade. It becomes something you can observe from a distance, without fear, without urgency. You can see it as a message, not as an enemy. Because pain, at its core, is trying to protect you. Even chronic pain, the kind that stays longer than it should, began with that same purpose. A warning, a call for attention, a signal that something needed care. But sometimes, just like an overprotective friend, the signal doesn't know when to quiet down. It keeps speaking, even when the danger has already passed. As you drift deeper into this slow, quiet place inside yourself, imagine your nervous system as a vast forest at night. Every nerve is a thin path glowing faintly through the darkness, each one carrying stories from different corners of your body. Some paths are peaceful. Some carry old footprints. Some are lit by pain signals moving slowly through them, like lanterns being carried along winding trails. And somewhere in this forest, there is a central clearing, a place where all these paths meet. This is the part of your mind where pain becomes real, where sensation transforms into experience. It is warm, glowing softly with the combined light of every message arriving from below. Here, your brain decides what pain means. It colors it with emotion. It gives it urgency or softness. It ties it to memories you may not even realize you're recalling. It connects it to worries you carry, fears you've held, stresses that have shaped you. Pain is not just physical. It is emotional. It is psychological. It is influenced by every part of your life. Now imagine standing in the middle of that clearing, watching those small lanterns. The signals arrive one by one. Some approach quickly, flickering with intensity. Others drift in slowly, glowing faintly. And you, standing there with calm, steady breath, can observe each one without becoming overwhelmed. Pain becomes less frightening when you watch it this way, when you step back from it and allow yourself to simply witness. Let your breath soften again. In and gently out. With each breath, imagine that the lanterns dim just a little. Not disappearing, not being forced away, simply settling, calming, growing quieter as your body releases tension you didn't realize you were holding. Because tension amplifies pain. Stress tightens the wires, sharpens the signals, and magnifies everything they carry. But here, in this slow, quiet room inside yourself, tension dissolves like smoke. Feel the muscles in your jaw loosen ever so slightly. Feel your shoulders drop a little deeper into gravity's embrace. Feel your stomach unclench, your back soften, your fingers rest without gripping the air. Pain lessens in the presence of softness. Your body knows this. Your breath knows this. And slowly, quietly, your mind begins to remember it too. In this moment, picture the signals traveling up through your spine not as jagged sparks, but as smooth trails of light. Your nervous system is not an iron machine. It is a living, flexible, breathing network. It adapts. It learns. It heals. Even when pain feels constant, your body is always trying to soothe it. Always adjusting. Always repairing. Always trying to bring you back to balance. And deep beneath every sensation, even the uncomfortable ones, there is a quiet intelligence, a steady rhythm of life that continues working for you, moment by moment. Now imagine that your breath carries warmth down your spine, wrapping every nerve in a soft golden glow. Slowly, this warmth moves outward, touching the arms, the legs, the chest, the neck, the face, the tiny muscles around your eyes. Everywhere it touches, the signals become just a little softer, a little quieter, a little gentler. You do not need to fight pain here. You do not need to resist it. You simply observe, breathe, and let your body do what it has always known how to do. Shift, adapt, recalibrate, heal. Pain is a story your body tells. And when you listen with calm attention, the story begins to change. As you drift even deeper into this quiet inner world, imagine yourself walking slowly through the vast forest of your nervous system. The ground beneath your feet is warm and soft, almost like moss, and every step sends a faint ripple of light spreading outward through the trees. These trees aren't ordinary. They glow with delicate traces of electricity, their branches humming faintly with signals traveling toward distant corners of your awareness. Each signal tells a small story. A story of where it came from, a story of what your body felt, a story of what needs attention, or rest, or simply time. And as you move deeper along this winding path, you begin to understand that pain is not a single story repeated endlessly, but a collection of many small conversations happening all at once. Some of those conversations began recently, a moment of strain, a sudden movement, a lingering ache. Others are much older, echoes from years ago, perhaps from injuries you barely remember. The body remembers everything, even when the mind forgets. And sometimes those old memories live quietly beneath the surface until something wakes them. But here, in this slow and gentle place, you don't have to chase them. You don't have to interpret them. You only have to notice. Imagine now that a soft breeze begins to move through the forest, carrying a warm, calming energy with it. As it moves past the glowing trees, the branches sway gently, the signals within them slowing, easing, softening. The breeze reaches you and wraps around your body like a warm blanket, reminding you that you are safe, that you are grounded, that even the most intense sensations eventually pass like weather moving across a sky. Pain, too, is weather. Some storms arrive suddenly, sharp and wild. Some storms build slowly, like clouds gathering in the distance. And some linger longer than they should, hovering stubbornly at the edges of your life. But no storm stays forever. Even chronic pain changes from hour to hour, moment to moment, breath to breath. Now, as you stand in the middle of this glowing forest, imagine the ground beneath you pulsing gently with each inhalation. With every breath in, the warmth rises from the earth. And with every breath out, tension flows downward, dissolving into the soil like ink fatting into water. Your body understands how to release. Your body understands how to soften. It has done this for years, every night as you sleep, every moment when you allow yourself to rest fully. Let your shoulders fall a bit further. Let your breath stretch a little longer. Let your mind float, unhurried, drifting like a leaf carried by a slow-moving river. Pain is not just a signal, it is a rhythm. And right now, your breath is gently shifting that rhythm, smoothing its edges, calming its pace. The deeper you relax, the more your brain begins to recalibrate, adjusting the intensity of the signals. Instead of harsh, bright sparks, the messages begin to feel softer, like lights behind a thin curtain. Even the parts of your body that usually feel tense or guarded begin to open just a little, as though they trust this silence, this stillness, this moment of release. Imagine now that you reach the heart of the forest, a wide, shimmering clearing lit by thousands of tiny lights floating above the ground. These lights are your neural patterns, constantly shifting and reforming, shaped by your breath, your thoughts, your emotions, your memories. And among them, you can see the patterns associated with pain, glowing brighter than the rest, weaving through the air like threads of warm amber. You walk closer to them, watching how they move. They are not chaotic. They follow pathways, patterns, rhythms older than your earliest memories. And as you reach out your hand not to grab them, but simply to acknowledge them, something shifts. The lights begin to slow, their glow dimming slightly, as though your calm presence alone has soothed them. Because your mind has more influence over pain than you realize. Not through force, not through control, but through softness, through awareness, through simply being present without fear. As you breathe again, deeply and gently, the lights drift upward, rising slowly into the branches of the forest above. The clearing becomes quieter. The air becomes warmer. Your body becomes lighter. This is what happens when you step back from the pain rather than diving into it. The nervous system loosens its grip. The signals ease. The body remembers how to rest. And rest is something pain cannot hold on to for long. Rest dissolves pain. Rest disarms it. Rest reminds the body of its natural harmony. Imagine now lying down in the center of this glowing clearing, the soft ground supporting you completely. The floating lights drift higher, leaving only a gentle haze of warmth around you. And as you close your eyes in this imagined space, your real body follows the same cue, softening into whatever surface you rest upon, sinking a little deeper into calm. The forest inside you glows quietly. Your breath moves slowly. Your pain, whatever shape it once held, loosens like a knot untangling itself in warm water. Your nervous system settles. Your muscles release. Your mind becomes quiet, like a still lake reflecting the pale glow of a distant moon. Here, pain is not a punishment. It is not a burden. It is simply a message, one that no longer needs to shout. And as the last traces of tension melt around you, you realize that this quiet, this softness, this deep inner peace, it has always been within you, waiting, watching, ready to return whenever you breathe slow enough to meet it again. As you drift quietly deeper into this inner landscape, imagine the forest around you expanding, stretching out beyond the horizon, becoming a vast world of sensations, memories, and hidden signals that your body has carried for years. Every tree, every glowing pathway, every whisper of light represents another small fragment of your experience, some familiar, some forgotten, and some so subtle that you've never truly noticed them. Pain often hides among these subtle places. Not always in the brightest signals, not always in the sharpest sensations, but sometimes in the faintest patterns where your mind rarely looks. It lives in the quiet memories of old injuries, in the delicate tension of muscles that stayed, contracted long after the stress was gone, in the emotions that settled into the body when they had nowhere else to go. Pain is complicated not because it wants to harm you, but because it is woven from so many threads, physical, emotional, chemical, and even historical. Tonight, you are exploring those threads gently, slowly, without judgment. Picture yourself walking deeper into the forest, where the air grows warmer and the lights shimmer more softly. The trees look different here, their branches longer, their glow steadier, as though this part of your inner world has held pain for much longer than you realized. Even so, nothing feels threatening. The forest isn't dark or cold. It simply feels old, a place that has been carrying signals patiently, waiting for your awareness to reach it. Pain can be ancient like this, a memory your body never fully released, a tension that became a habit, a sensation that grew roots in your muscles and nervous system over time. As you approach this deeper region, imagine reaching out your hand and brushing it gently against the glowing bark of a nearby tree. The moment your fingers touch it, a soft pulse spreads outward through the branches, not a jolt, not a shock, but a warm ripple, as if the tree itself sighs in relief at being acknowledged. Pain often softens the moment it feels seen rather than resisted. The nervous system responds to gentleness far more easily than to force. You walk a little further and begin to hear something faint, not a sound exactly, but more like a subtle vibration. It moves through the air the way a whisper moves through a dream. The vibration represents the background tension your body carries each day. You may not always notice it, but it shapes your posture, your breathing, your energy, and the way signals travel through your body. Sometimes pain is simply tension that was never given permission to rest. The vibration becomes clearer as you walk, almost like a low hum. But as your breathing slows, as your body relaxes, the hum begins to fade. Pain often amplifies when the body is tense and quiets when the body feels safe. Tonight, you are offering that safety, the quiet reassurance that nothing needs to be protected or guarded. Now imagine finding another clearing, smaller than the last but somehow more peaceful. The ground here glows softer, dimmer, as though this space is reserved for the kind of pain that lingers quietly, the kind that becomes part of your daily life without you realizing. It's not sharp or overwhelming. Instead, it's the familiar stiffness when you wake up, the slow ache after a long day, the tension that sits behind your ribs or across your shoulders. These sensations gather here, in this gentle clearing. But instead of feeling heavy or dense, they appear as faint wisps of light rising from the ground. Each wisp flickers softly, as if it's breathing with you. When you inhale, the lights expand slightly. When you exhale, they drift downward, dissolving into the warm earth. You don't have to push them away. Your breath is enough to soften them. Breathing becomes a quiet partnership with your body, a reminder that pain often reduces when oxygen reaches the muscles, when the diaphragm relaxes, when the nervous system is no longer bracing itself for something that isn't happening. You lie down once more, feeling the ground support your body with slow, unwavering comfort. The wisps of light continue rising and falling, matching the pace of your breath. And as they move, you begin to understand something deeper. Pain doesn't need to vanish for you to find peace. It only needs space. Space to move, space to breathe, space to unfold without pressure. As the forest grows quieter, you sense a shift, a gentle warmth spreading across your chest, down your arms, through your neck and shoulders, releasing one small layer of tension after another. The warmth travels down your spine, unwinding the stiffness that builds up from so many days spent carrying worries or responsibilities. It flows into your legs, melting the heaviness stored in the muscles that keep you standing and moving through life. Every breath deepens the softness, every exhale carries another trace of tension away, every moment brings your nervous system into a calmer rhythm. Pain is not simply a message, it is a relationship, a conversation between the body and the brain. And right now, That conversation is becoming quieter, smoother, kinder. You are teaching your brain that it does not need to amplify the signals. You are teaching your muscles that they do not need to hold on so tightly. You are teaching your entire system that rest is possible, even in places where pain has lived for a long time. And as your awareness drifts through this quiet space, the trees, the light, the breath, the ground, everything around you forms a single, warm field of calm, a reminder that peace does not require a perfect body. It only requires presence, safety, and slow, steady breathing. In this moment, your pain, whatever shape it takes, begins to loosen its roots, not because it is forced, but because it is finally understood. As you lie there, feeling the ground cradle every curve of your body, allow yourself to drift deeper into this quiet awareness. Notice how the subtle pulses of your own heartbeat mingle with the faint glimmers of light around you. Each thump carries reassurance, a reminder that life flows steadily, quietly, even through discomfort. Your body knows how to heal, your nervous system knows how to relax, and your mind is learning to witness without judgment. Imagine now that the soft forest floor beneath you begins to rise slightly, lifting your body gently, almost as if it were a wave of warm, supportive energy. You are no longer just lying on the earth, you are floating above it, cradled in a cocoon of understanding. Pain, in this space, is no longer a force pressing down on you. It is a companion, softening as you acknowledge its presence, allowing itself to be seen without resistance. Look around and notice how the trees stretch higher, their branches weaving together into an intricate canopy. Tiny sparks of light flicker along the limbs, reminding you of the countless signals your body sends each second. These signals, sometimes loud, sometimes faint, are all part of the dialogue between body and brain. In this forest, they no longer feel urgent or alarming. They simply exist, and your awareness of them brings gentle relief. Step slowly along a winding path, the earth beneath your feet warm and forgiving. Feel the tension in your shoulders loosening as you walk, the tightness around your spine softening with each careful, mindful step. Notice the small wisps of light rising from the ground, the echoes of old discomfort, the memories of aches long held. They swirl around you, no longer burdens, but soft ribbons of energy, moving in rhythm with your breath, expanding and contracting in a slow, calming dance. With each inhale, feel the fresh air filling every corner of your body, loosening stiffness you didn't even realize was there. With each exhale, imagine the lingering tension drifting away, dissolving into the warm, welcoming forest around you. Pain here is not an enemy. It is a quiet signal, a story your body has been carrying, now met with kindness rather than struggle. As the path curves, you come upon a small stream, water flowing with gentle persistence. Step closer and watch the surface ripple softly with each drop of light that touches it. The stream represents the flow of energy through your body, the constant movement of nerves, blood, and subtle chemical signals. Even when pain has created temporary blockages, the stream continues, patiently, quietly, reminding you that your body is always capable of change, always capable of releasing, always capable of returning to balance. Sit by the water, letting its cool presence soothe your mind. Place your hands in it, feeling the gentle resistance, the soft pull, the calm rhythm of motion. Your awareness follows the ripples outward, understanding that pain, too, can move, can change, can shift when met with calm observation. It does not need to be fixed immediately. It only needs to be seen, to be given space, to be allowed to breathe along with you. And now, as you lean back onto the forest floor, the trees above whisper their quiet understanding. The glowing light around you grows warmer, more encompassing. It flows into your chest, your shoulders, your arms, and down through your legs, melting away the residual stiffness that has lingered for years. You are fully supported. You are fully witnessed. You are fully allowed to rest. Every nerve, every fiber, every tiny cell begins to sense the softness, the safety, the gentle acceptance. The hum of background tension fades further, leaving only the slow, steady rhythm of your own life force. In this cocoon of understanding, the boundaries between body, mind, and environment blur. Pain is no longer something to fight. It is a whisper among many whispers, present yet softened, acknowledged yet not feared. Breathe slowly. Let your body expand with the inhale, let it release with the exhale. Feel the layers of tension peeling away as your nervous system learns, in this quiet, endless forest that it can rest. Pain may return, yes, but it will return to a body and mind that know how to meet it with patience, with presence, with gentle awareness. And as you drift ever deeper, allow the forest, the light, the gentle movement, and the steady, supportive ground to carry you into a place where pain exists but does not dominate. Here, in this endless, soft landscape, your body begins to remember. Peace is possible. Relief is possible. Rest is possible. All it takes is attention, care, and the slow, patient rhythm of your own breath. As you continue to drift gently through the forest, notice the variety of lights that surround you. Some flicker softly like candle flames, some glow steadily like lanterns, and some shimmer with a subtle, almost imperceptible vibration. Each light is a representation of a different kind of pain that your body has known, some sharp, some dull, some lingering for years without your conscious notice. And as you observe them, you are not judging them. You are simply witnessing, offering a calm presence that allows them to exist without fear. Let us begin with the muscular and joint pain, the kind that arises from movement, tension, and repetition. Imagine a tree whose branches droop slightly, weighed down by time. Its roots wind deep into the soil, firm but unyielding. This tree mirrors the muscles that carry long-held tension, the joints that have felt strain through years of daily activity. Perhaps you recognize it in your shoulders, stiff from hours of work at a desk, or in your knees, aching after long walks or exercise. The glow here is warm, orange-tinged, gentle, not alarming. Place your awareness there, imagining your breath flowing into those areas. With each inhalation, a soft warmth fills the tight muscles. With each exhale, the tension loosens slightly, like a gentle tide pulling away from the shore. Moving deeper, notice the nerve pain, subtler yet persistent, like a faint vibration running through the earth beneath your feet. This pain can be tingling, radiating, or sharp in brief flashes. It travels along paths you may not often notice, reaching fingertips, toes, or the spine. Some nerves carry memories of past injury or unnoticed pressure. Imagine walking along a narrow path in the forest where thin streams of light ripple through the underbrush. These represent the nerve signals, constantly moving, whispering, sending information to your brain. Breathe into these areas, allowing the light to expand, softening each pulse, each whisper until it feels less like a disturbance and more like a message being gently acknowledged. Then there is the emotional pain, delicate, hidden, and often intertwined with the physical. Picture a small grove of trees, their trunks close together, their leaves rustling in a quiet breeze. The leaves represent memories and emotions, grief, worry, loneliness, and anxiety that your body has absorbed. Sometimes, when you feel tension in your chest, tightness in your throat, or a knot in your stomach, it is not only the body signaling, but the emotions carried silently over time. Allow your awareness to move like a soft wind through this grove, brushing each leaf gently. Each exhale releases a fragment of what has been stored here. The trees sway, the lights flicker in response, and you sense a softening, a quiet acknowledgement that pain is not a punishment, but a messenger. Chronic pain is another subtle layer, the slow, persistent ache that seems almost natural because it has been present for so long. It can feel like a low hum in the background of your daily life, often unnoticed until you focus on it. Imagine this as a steady, amber light that never dims entirely, but softens as you approach with gentle curiosity. Each inhalation brings awareness, and each exhalation invites release. The hum may remain, but it no longer dominates the forest. It simply becomes part of the rhythm, a quiet signal woven into the larger ecosystem of your body. Your attention, calm and steady, is enough to create a sense of space around it, allowing it to exist without tension. Some pain is ancient, held for decades, carried in habits, postures, or old injuries. These pains are like the oldest trees in the forest, gnarled, roots twisted deep into the earth, bearing the weight of years. Sometimes you may barely notice them because they have become part of your daily landscape. Yet with careful observation, you can sense the areas of your body that have learned to brace, the muscles that have memorized tension patterns, the subtle stiffness in joints that move habitually. By breathing into these areas, by sending warmth and awareness, you remind these ancient pathways that it is safe to soften. Even the oldest tension can begin to release when met with patience and gentle attention. Pain is also subtle and scattered, tiny sparks in unexpected places. Perhaps a momentary twinge in a finger, a fleeting ache in the lower back, or a small discomfort behind the eyes. These are whispers, often overlooked, but they deserve acknowledgement. Picture these sparks as tiny stars in the forest canopy, flickering softly. You don't need to chase them or force them away. Simply notice, breathe, and imagine them blending with the gentle glow around you, becoming part of the calm, quiet rhythm of the forest. As you move through this inner landscape, you may notice that some pains are interconnected, physical discomfort intertwined with emotional tension, nerve sensitivity linked to postural habits, and chronic ache amplified by stress. Visualize the streams of light in the forest converging, forming gentle rivers that flow through the trees, linking every area of your awareness. Your breath guides the current, softening the edges, warming the waters, and creating a sense of harmony among the different kinds of pain. With each gentle pulse, the forest responds, the lights flicker in unison, and a quiet sense of balance emerges. Tonight, you are practicing the art of presence with pain. You are learning to observe without reacting, to acknowledge without judgment, to feel without resistance. Every type of pain, muscular, nerve, emotional, chronic, ancient, or subtle, is a thread in the rich tapestry of your body and mind. And as you continue to breathe, continue to notice, continue to send warmth and awareness, you cultivate a deeper understanding. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is information, a guide, a signal that your body and mind are alive, communicating, and seeking gentle attention. As you lie quietly in this inner forest, notice how the lights representing various kinds of pain pulse gently, each one a soft signal calling for your attention. Now, consider the deeper purpose of these lights, these sensations that have been with you, sometimes quietly, sometimes insistently. Pain, in all its forms, is not merely discomfort. It is a guide, a messenger, a subtle teacher that your body and mind have relied upon for survival, awareness, and balance throughout your life. Imagine the first spark of sensation when you touch something too hot as a child. That instant awareness, that sharp signal, prevented harm and shaped your actions. Pain acts much like that, even in its more subtle forms today. A stiff shoulder may remind you to adjust your posture. A dull ache in the knees may tell you to slow your movements. A lingering headache may encourage rest, water, or nourishment. Each signal, each flicker of light in this forest carries wisdom. It protects, it informs, it guides. Without pain, the forest of your body would feel empty, silent, and unaware. There would be no prompts to adjust, to care, to protect yourself. Imagine walking through this inner landscape without the glowing trees of awareness. Perhaps you would stumble, strain, or overextend, because there would be no gentle cues telling you where limits lie. Pain, in this sense, is a quiet guardian, a patient teacher that whispers caution without shouting commands. Consider emotional pain as well. Moments of sadness, loss, or disappointment are painful, yet they cultivate empathy, resilience, and insight. Imagine the glowing grove of leaves in your forest, each one representing an emotion that once hurt. As your awareness passes through, you see that these leaves, though tinged with discomfort, also carry the memory of growth, of learning, of emotional depth. Pain allows you to feel fully, to connect with your experiences, and to navigate life with more understanding. Even chronic pain, the kind that lingers in muscles, joints, or nerves over long periods, serves a purpose. It signals areas that need attention, perhaps lifestyle changes, gentle movement, or mindfulness. The warm, steady glow of these long-lived lights is not punishment, but guidance. Your nervous system, when trained with awareness, can learn to interpret these signals more clearly, distinguishing between messages that require action and those that simply call for acknowledgement. Pain also encourages adaptation and growth. Think of the muscles that ache after exercise. The soreness is a signal that your body has been challenged, that fibers have been stimulated to repair and strengthen. Think of minor injuries that heal, leaving you stronger, more cautious, and wiser. The signals of pain, like the gentle winds through your forest, direct your attention to areas of potential growth and protection. And now, notice how your breath interacts with these lights of understanding. Each inhalation brings awareness, warmth, and curiosity. Each exhalation offers release, softness, and acceptance. Pain becomes less of an adversary and more of a teacher, a friend whose whispers guide you gently rather than demanding with force. Tonight, As you lie surrounded by the forest of your inner world, realize that pain is essential. It is a guardian of your body, a mentor of your emotions, and a guide for your mind. Without it, awareness fades, growth diminishes, and the gentle wisdom of your body would remain unheard. Pain asks only that you listen, that you notice, and that you respond with patience and care. In this way, you are learning a profound truth. Pain is important because it keeps you alive, aware, and connected. It does not define you, but it informs you. It does not restrict you, but it teaches you. It does not punish, but it protects. And as you breathe, feel, and witness, you cultivate a quiet harmony, a serene understanding of the vital role pain plays in the intricate symphony of your life. Now, see this ancient wisdom reflected in your own body. The pain you feel today, whether a twinge in your back, a throbbing headache, or the subtle stiffness in your joints, is a continuation of this evolutionary intelligence. Your nervous system has inherited millions of years of fine-tuning. Learning how to interpret, respond to, and sometimes even anticipate pain. Every neuron that fires, every signal that travels along your nerves, is part of a sophisticated system designed to protect and adapt. Consider your nervous system as a forest of its own, a web of glowing threads, each one transmitting subtle messages of sensation, tension, or alert. When pain arises, it lights up these threads, creating a pattern that your brain can read. Sometimes the signal is urgent, demanding immediate attention. Other times it is quiet, persistent, and patient, asking only that you notice it. The brilliance of this system lies in its precision. It never asks for more than you need, it never rushes, it never forgets. Now, let's explore the emotional dimension of pain. Emotional pain, like physical pain, is deeply instructive. Sadness, grief, disappointment, and fear are signals of the mind, alerting you to needs that are unmet, to connections that require attention, or to boundaries that must be respected. Imagine your inner forest glowing with these subtle lights. Each emotion is a small flicker, illuminating the path of self-awareness. When you acknowledge these flickers without resistance, you allow healing to begin. You teach your emotional system that it can express itself safely, and in return, you gain wisdom, empathy, and depth of understanding. Ignoring pain, whether physical or emotional, is like walking through a forest at night without noticing the glowing pathways. You may stumble over roots, miss signs of danger, or fail to appreciate the subtle beauty of the terrain. Pain is a guidepost, a gentle teacher that asks you to pause, reflect, and respond. Chronic pain, which may linger for months or years, is particularly patient. It waits quietly, demanding attention not with aggression, but with persistence, encouraging you to listen to your body, to respect its limits, and to engage in practices that foster healing and balance. Mindfulness is a powerful companion in this dialogue with pain. By slowing your breathing, softening your muscles, and focusing your awareness, you can transform pain from a signal of distress into a guide of understanding. Picture the glowing wisps of pain in your inner forest, each one expanding slightly as you breathe in and softening as you exhale. With each breath, the nervous system learns that not all pain is urgent, that some sensations simply want acknowledgement and presence. This gentle observation allows the body to release tension, reduces stress signals, and cultivates a profound sense of calm. Pain also encourages growth. The soreness after exercise, the discomfort during stretching, or the ache after a long walk teaches the body its limits, then allows it to expand beyond them. Emotional pain works in the same way. Moments of rejection or disappointment illuminate what matters to you, what you value, and where change is needed. In both cases, pain is not punishment. It is an invitation to understand, adapt, and strengthen. Notice now how your awareness deepens as you lie in the quiet of your inner forest. Each glowing thread of pain, each pulse of sensation, each subtle vibration becomes part of a larger understanding. Pain is important because it is a teacher of life's rhythms. It reminds you to rest, to move, to protect, to listen, and to adapt. It is not an obstacle to be feared, but a guide to be honored. Even in moments when pain feels overwhelming, your awareness can create space. Picture a soft, warm light expanding around each sensation, as if your consciousness is a gentle sun melting away the tension. This light does not make the pain vanish instantly, but it allows it to exist without domination, to share its message without consuming your awareness. Here, In the safety of this inner forest, you can understand pain's purpose, a balance of caution and growth, of alertness and rest, of awareness and release. As your breathing continues, each inhale bringing calm, each exhale releasing tension, you begin to sense a rhythm, a subtle harmony between your body, your mind, and your nervous system. Pain is not chaos. It is a form of communication, a system of signals that has guided humans for countless generations. And tonight, in this gentle exploration, you honor that system, acknowledging its wisdom, its patience, and its essential role in your life. Imagine now the pathways of your nervous system as gentle rivers of light flowing through the trees of your inner forest. Acute pain creates bright, rapid ripples, quick signals that travel straight to the heart of awareness. Chronic pain is more like a slow-moving stream, winding through the roots and valleys of your body, teaching you how to navigate without rushing, how to attend with care. Both are essential. Both are guides, silently shaping the choices you make every moment. Consider the role of your brain in this journey. It interprets pain, giving context, creating stories, and linking sensations with emotions. A sore knee may carry memories of a past fall. A tension in your shoulders may echo days spent hunched over work, or emotions held too tightly in the chest. Pain is rarely just physical. It often mirrors the landscape of your mind, your habits, and your experiences. And as you lie here, observing without judgment, you allow the brain to gently untangle these threads, to understand that not every signal requires panic, that each sensation is an opportunity for insight. Now, shift your focus to subtle sensations in your body, the gentle pulse behind your eyes, the slight pressure in your jaw, the quiet tension along your spine. These are not loud or demanding, yet they speak volumes. They are your body's quiet reminders, whispering truths that might otherwise go unnoticed. With each breath, imagine sending a wave of warmth and attention to these areas. The moment you notice them, they begin to soften, a testament to the body's incredible ability to respond to awareness, to gentle acknowledgement, and to care. Pain also has a profound connection with emotion. Emotional pain, like physical pain, asks to be noticed. Heartache, grief, worry, or anxiety often manifest physically. A tightening of the chest, a knot in the stomach, a heaviness in the shoulders. Your body and mind are intertwined in a delicate conversation, and pain is one of the ways that conversation is expressed. Imagine now that your breath is a bridge, traveling from the heart to the body, carrying calm, understanding, and acceptance to every corner of this landscape. Each inhale brings patience. Each exhale releases tension. The body begins to learn a new rhythm, one in which pain no longer dominates but exists as part of a broader awareness. Let's explore another subtle aspect of pain, its role in growth. When you exercise, the muscles burn, the joints stretch, the body protests softly. This discomfort is temporary, instructing you to adjust, to strengthen, to adapt. Emotional pain functions similarly. Moments of disappointment or difficulty illuminate values, boundaries, and priorities. Pain is not a punishment. It is feedback, teaching resilience, empathy, and wisdom. Each time you encounter it with patience, you expand your capacity to understand and endure, deepening both physical and emotional strength. As your inner journey continues, envision the glow of each nerve and muscle, each joint and organ, softly illuminated. Acute pain flickers like a sudden spark, while chronic pain hums like a steady ember. With awareness, you can allow each spark and ember to exist without fear, without urgency, and without tension. You become a gentle observer, a calm witness to the signals that your body sends. This is the heart of mindful awareness, seeing pain clearly, yet holding it with kindness, neither resisting nor amplifying it. Now, imagine a small clearing deeper in your inner forest. Here, pain appears as threads of light, tangled and interwoven with your emotions, memories, and physical sensations. Instead of attempting to pull them apart forcefully, picture them loosening naturally as you breathe. Notice how patience, attention, and gentle movement create space for these threads to unwind. This is how your nervous system begins to learn new patterns, how muscles relax, how the mind quiets, and how the body releases tension stored over years. Pain is not only a signal of what is wrong, it is a guide to what needs attention, care, or understanding. Consider a small ache in your back. It may encourage better posture, a short walk, or a moment of stretching. Emotional discomfort may point to relationships that require boundaries or conversations that need honesty. Pain provides feedback, quiet, persistent, necessary feedback about your interactions with the world and with yourself.